The reason why is because you haven't distributed that content. You need to get more attention on it. You need to get more eyeballs on it. So after you press publish, you need to not just share it on Facebook and Twitter and call it a day. You need to go into a subreddit and answer a question and link it there. You need to go on medium.com and upload it there. You need to ensure that that YouTube video is embedded in a blog post that you wrote 3 weeks ago. You need to take that podcast episode that you recorded and chop it up into 5 different pieces and share those on Twitter. You need to turn those into Instagram stories, a TikTok reel.
Cause no problems. I just wanna live my life, but I keep on hearing about nonsense. Me and my dons ain't mobsters, but you know when you see imposters, we know how to read them faces, same way you know how to read them comments. If you wanna talk, let's talk, but around here, make sure you walk and your talk is constant.
Right. Yeah. And I think on Instagram, like, people should not be afraid to put content up on their stories. They shouldn't be afraid to like reshare it to their story, like that too. Like, find that old post that you shared a few weeks ago and just upload it to your story. I think that can go far as well.
For sure. Now, as far as, like, I know one thing I keep asking myself is like, well, where are these other places that I should be distributing, right? And so I know that, like, you've talked a lot about Facebook groups and stuff like that. What are some places that people just like aren't talking much about that you found are good places to repost content?
Yeah, the 2 big places that I think right now are underrated are Reddit and Discord communities. So
Okay.
a lot of folks just heard that and they're like, what? Why in the world am I thinking about Reddit and Discord? But hear me out for a second. So Reddit is one of the most popular sites in the world. It's for some reason kind of overlooked by a lot of marketers. And I know the reason. A lot of marketers are afraid of Reddit. You go on Reddit, you upload something, you get blocked, you're kicked off, you're gone. Bye, Felicia, you're out of here. It's very easy to get banned on Reddit. But there's millions of people, and those millions of people are inside of these things called subreddits, which are essentially communities that are very focused and interested in certain topics. So if you have an interest in video editing, there's very likely a subreddit dedicated to that topic where you can write a blog post, you can create a YouTube video, you can create an Instagram post, whatever, and screenshot it, upload it, and get that content distributed in these communities. And you know with confidence you're going to reach the ideal audience. It's the same model that you should be thinking about on Facebook groups. Similarly, Discord is the same kind of approach. Now, don't get me wrong, Discord isn't as clean and nice and tidy as a Reddit or Facebook groups, in the sense that you'll have to do some discovery on your own. But this is a place that is really starting to take off. And I think there's an opportunity there as well for people to join in. Underlying all 3 of those ideas, and the main 2 are Reddit and Discord, is one simple concept, and that's communities. I think if marketers, if creators, if builders start to think about communities as an opportunity for them to extract value, they will be able to win. And when I talk about extracting value, you need to understand that this isn't just like a pure give me just for you type of thing. You have to go into these communities with the idea that you can give them value. And if you can contribute value, you won't get blocked, you won't get banned. You will be rewarded with good karma, with great comments, with great engagements, with traffic, with sales, and potentially relationships that will last you for the rest of your career. So my advice to folks would be, yes, Reddit is a great channel, Discord is a great channel, but at the core of what I'm saying here is communities. You want to find communities, whether it's on Slack, whether it's on Stack Overflow, whether it's a forum, whether it's a small niche website that nobody else is using. If your audience is there, go into these communities, reverse engineer what type of content these people want, and then give it to them consistently, and you will unlock an amazing amount of value.
That's fantastic. And is that, and when you were talking about like people getting blocked and stuff like that, is that because people are going in for the ask too much?
Yeah. 100%. It's coming from experience. I went into a subreddit called Our Technology, and I was like, all of my blog posts are great. These people are going to love it. And I started to submit all of my blog posts. And within 10 seconds, I was banned. Why? Because directly in the rules, it says like you have to add value. So I needed to then study what content people in Our Technology actually wanted, and then ensure that I wasn't just submitting anything that happened to mention tech, but instead that it was aligned with the values of the community. So when you do it from that perspective, it makes it easier to win. Since then, I've been on the front page of Reddit maybe 25 or 30 times. And every single time we've generated probably like 200, 300,000 visits to the content that has been submitted. It is no joke, folks. Like it breaks websites. Reddit is without question a powerful channel and something that I would strongly recommend people consider.
I love that not so subtle flex. That's good stuff right
Yeah.
there. No, that's so cool, and it's so funny because I had that. So I had that very thing happen to me. It wasn't on Reddit. It was on a Twitter thread, and
Cool.
someone had asked some question, and someone was like, "Hey, like we actually get that question a lot. Like here's an article we wrote," and I clicked on it, and I just realized I'd been marketed to,
That's
and
awesome.
it felt so natural
Yeah.
because of the fact that it was like it interlocked perfectly. It
Right.
was the right answer to the right question, and so it didn't feel intrusive or invasive. And so like the next, the only thing you could do was click on it because I
Yeah.
was like, this is literally going to answer my question,
Exactly.
plus some. And
Yeah.
so that's cool that you mentioned that. So that's kind of what I'm hearing, is just making sure that there's like absolute alignment
That's it.
there, rather than just treating it like an announcement,
Right.
like, hey, I
Yes.
wrote a new blog post.
Exactly. I've seen people go in and just be like, buy my SEO services or buy this pen that we've created. That's how you get blocked, right? Like
Yeah.
nobody wants to buy it. I'm going to Reddit because I want to be educated, I want to be engaged, I want to be entertained. And if you're not delivering on one of those three things, then you're probably not creating something of value for your audience. So just pause the brakes, step back, drink some kombucha, and try again another day. Like it's not worth it.
No, that's cool. I actually like kombucha, so
So do I love it.
oh, it's just so expensive.
It's true.
Um, so you had just recently posted something. I want to say it was on an Instagram reel,
Mm,
about the fear that surrounds people, right? Because we're talking about distribution, and so obviously there's like platforms, whether they're emerging, whether they're like kind of on the tail end of emerging, such as like the TikToks and stuff like that are like super trending now. They're not like really new anymore, but
right.
they kind of are new to a lot of businesses,
Yeah.
and there is a lot of fear surrounding those. And you had made mention about, um, just people being concerned
Yeah.
about investing money in these platforms that wouldn't necessarily last a long time. And I think one of the people in your comments mentioned like Clubhouse,
Right.
which people still use, by the way, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Right.
know why.
Yeah.
But so, what are your thoughts on that? Like, for example, like let's just say we knew a platform was only going to last like 6 months to a year,
Right.
right? So let's just start there rather than like a question of whether or not it'll last forever. Like, what
Yep.
can someone actually do with that information, right?
Right.
Like, is it worth spending time and building an audience? And then, like, what do you do with them
Yep.
to kind of like hedge your bets on whether or
Yeah.
not that's going to work?
I love this because I haven't talked about it a lot on podcasts, but I think that is one of the most significant opportunities for creators who have time on their side. And the reason why I say this is if you can go to a channel when it's on the up and coming, when it's growing quickly and it's rapid, you have three key opportunities that sit in front of you. One, you have the opportunity to be the first. So by simply being first, you have the opportunity to capture the growth and the exponential growth that is going to come thereafter. So every net new person that falls into your ideal customer, your ideal audience, they have an opportunity to engage with you and follow you, especially if you're being consistent. What does that mean? It means that you now are capturing new eyeballs on your content, your stories, your brand, etc. The second opportunity that you have is to retain them. How do you retain them? You talk about things outside of this platform. You're going to drive them to an email list. You're going to drive them to your YouTube channel, to something that is less risky, something that you know you're going to have for a few years, maybe decades. You want to move them off of this platform. So when the platform does fall off, you have captured them. The third opportunity that exists that most people overlook is when you are early, you have an opportunity to build relationships with the administrators, the moderators, the founders, the creators, the people who develop this platform. And they will give you benefits by being early, by being a power user. They will put you as the person that you happen to have to follow when you first sign up for Twitter. There are tons of accounts on Twitter that have millions of followers solely because in the first few years of Twitter, when you signed up for a first account, you were met with the opportunity to kind of follow someone and the opportunity to like follow these new people. There's so much opportunity that exists on these channels if you build a relationship with the founders, the creators, and the people behind them.
Yeah, for sure. I know that like when I hopped on, nobody talks about it anymore, but it was Triller.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was like the
Cool.
competitor for TikTok. In fact, I think someone from TikTok went and made it.
That's amazing.
Like I had someone who was like an intern reach out to me and like try to help me with like my profile,
Right.
and
Right.
it didn't amount to anything. Nothing ever happened from it. But it was like, oh wow, like that's kind of crazy that happened.
Yeah.
But they were
Yeah.
aggressively trying to grow, and if
Yeah.
you're creating content, that's literally what they need to get the eyeballs, and so it makes
That's
sense
it.
that they would be
Yeah.
helping you out.
Yeah.
Now I know that most businesses are not taking advantage of TikTok, but for the sake of the marketers who like TikTok is maybe even old news to,
Yeah.
what platforms are you looking at now? Give us the inside peek to what Ross Simmonds is looking at as far as new platforms that you're trying to engage with and see if they're going somewhere.
Yeah, so I mentioned Discord earlier, and I am really thinking that Discord has got a lot of opportunity within it. I think Discord is one of those channels that a lot of marketers are sleeping on because they think it's kind of like one of those pure play Web3 only places. And it's been around for a while. Like it's been around for a while, but it's just now recently starting, in my opinion, kind of reach its peak on the back of Web3 and all of the different things happening in that realm. And I think there's a major opportunity there. I think brands can get involved there. I think that a lot of folks are still sleeping on it, and I think it's a massive play. The other one that I think is not really a social channel, but is still a massive opportunity are Substacks. Like I think newsletters and sponsoring newsletters of other people is a low-hanging fruit in terms of arbitrage, and I think it's an opportunity that a lot of people should be thinking about. But yeah, those are the two that stand out today as like opportunities that people are sleeping on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, like you said, Discord's been around for a while, but it's
Yeah.
it's primarily been a gaming network platform, and so it absolutely is emerging in the sense that it's like finally breaking out of
Yeah.
that niche. So
Yeah,
that's cool, awesome.
It is cool.
Yeah. So let me ask you like just a couple like random questions. These are like they don't have to be marketing related. These are just like
No worries.
fun,
Let's do it.
quick questions. Favorite book that you're reading right now?
Ooh, favorite book. So I'm going to go back to a principles book. It's called The Pyramid Principle by Barbara Minto. It's just a book. It's going to sound very boring to some people about how to write well in terms of writing memos and emails and just like basic how to communicate effectively through business. So The Pyramid Principle is one of those books that I'm reading right now that I enjoy.
Cool. That's awesome. Favorite podcast?
Ooh, so I am a fantasy football person, so I'm gonna say the Fantasy Footballers. It's still the Fantasy Footballers. It's nothing that any marketer listening to this is gonna be like, oh, I can get some insight out of this, but I listen to the Fantasy Footballers all the time. It's a great podcast.
That's awesome. And then most anticipated movie of 2022.
Ooh, now that is something that I do not have a clear answer to because I am a Marvel geek and I will listen and watch every Marvel movie that comes out. So I know it's probably considered basic to some, but like I Am Groot is supposed to come out. I'm excited for that. All of those things. Like if it's Marvel's related, I'm all in on it. So yeah.
So did you already watch
my
Doctor
cover
Strange?
of the various movies? Black Panther I hear is coming as well, so that's exciting. New Guardians. I did. It was no spoilers. I'm just gonna say yes. I did.
Okay. Yeah. I'm very excited about that. He's like one of my favorite guys, I think. So. But I'm not like an old comic guy. I'm like a new comic guy where like I didn't read the books and read the comics as a kid, so like I'm kind of like not the cool comic guy, but that's okay. I can live with that.
Fair.
Well, cool, man. Well, we're coming on the end of our
I didn't watch it. I didn't read all the comics either.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, then.
No, I was just saying I didn't read all the comics as a little one either. Like I was reading like Archie and a bunch of other weird comics when I was young. But yeah, no, now I'm all in on the Marvel side.
It's good stuff. They're just well done, so can't be mad at it.
That's it.
Well, dude, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Really, really appreciate it. Man, lots of juice in there. And so for the different marketers who are watching this, whether you're a CMO or whether you're the one actually like on the ground executing every day, like go back and re-listen to this again. This is going to make so much of what you do just more effective and being able to actually make the content that you're spending all the time in actually count for something and actually get engagement and actually not feel that you're crazy, that you're making content that sucks, but it could be that just not enough people have seen it or not the right kind of people. So take comfort in that. And yeah, Ross, thank you very much. Thank you for being on here. Appreciate it. And I hope everyone enjoyed this. I know I sure did.
Thank you for having me on. Really appreciate it. I hope folks can find some ways to distribute their content in ways that aren't so vanilla.
I'm sure they will. Thanks.
Wanna cause no problems. I just wanna live my life, but I keep on hearing about nonsense. Me and my dons ain't mobsters, but you know when you see imposters, we know how to read them faces, same way you know how to read them comments. If you wanna talk, let's talk, but around here, make sure you're walking your talk is constant.